everyone, this is Bridget, and today I wanted to talk to you about a subject that has been triggering some people, which is the idea at looking at conspiracy, the idea of looking at negativity. Because there are many schools of thought of how to go about this awakening process, how to be choosing the right timeline, and a lot of them are opposed. And so how do we reconcile that? So I wanted to talk to you about some of my perspectives, the way that I look at things, that maybe you want to integrate, or maybe you want to then instill a greater understanding in your own perspective so that you can go in a different direction. So just whatever you choose is awesome, but I'm just going to give you where I'm at right now. So the idea is looking at this idea of conspiracy, because ultimately we all kind of know it would be a general sensing that it's like, if you are awakening, you are going to be on a certain timeline, be in a certain reality based on your vibration. So that's kind of like, we could call that a standard spiritual understanding, philosophy. So from that perspective then, it would be really bad to go look at conspiracy, because that has a lower vibration, it has a lower frequency. And this has often been said, if you watch Bashar videos, like if anyone brings up chemtrails, he like yells at them and he's like, don't talk about chemtrails, don't talk about like Star Wars, don't talk about these certain things that are going on in the negative realms. And I completely agree with that. I think that it's very good not to look at it if you're coming from a perspective of being hyper triggered about it, or if you're coming from a perspective of being of just disappearing in fear down the rabbit hole. And I'm just gonna say, I don't know like where he's at, like where Bashar's at, but I have a feeling, because I've heard a lot of private sessions that he does in which he goes into deeper stuff, deeper darkness things, and like works them out and talks about them. But I feel like one of the reasons why he doesn't go into it in these group sessions, or when someone brings it up, he completely shuts them down, is because they're approaching the question from a place of deep fear or a place of deep triggering. And the whole point, the thing that I feel like the ETs, the benevolent ETs are wanting us to do, as well as our higher selves are wanting us to do, is really stay as high as possible, because it's so easy, right, in this world, because we're hit with propaganda, we're hit with different kinds of programming from the onset. Like, you know, we come out of the womb and it's like, let's circumcise, let's, you know, like, you maybe don't even come out of the womb, they're like, we're not even gonna let you come out of the womb, we're gonna do a C-section on you. So it's like, oh my god, just like before you even come into the world, it's like, you know, you were being taken advantage of in these weird and creepy ways. So the idea is that anything that these benevolent beings and our higher selves can do to help us stay high is going to be at the utmost importance for them and for us, because we are just these little babies, you know, like we're just these budding flowers, you know, like beginning to open in this like torrential storm. It's like, and you're like, let me open. And so if it's like, hey, okay, I'll give you this little shield of positivity so that you can get a stronger root, so you can grow this kind of like trunk of a tree. I guess we'll go with the stem, because we're talking about flowers here. So if your stem can be really strong, if you can be more rooted into the earth, into positivity, into that vibration, then when you open yourself, when you start to blossom, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to look at everything. So that's where I come in with my perspective. Okay, so I know it's getting dark. This video might get dark. That's just the way that it is. I wanted to film it right now, so just go with me. And it's kind of symbolic as well, right? We're like talking about going into the dark and letting that be okay. So now, if we are this blooming flower, we are everything. We are all existence. And the more light you become, the more dark you can perceive, the more dark you'll become aware of. The thing is as you open the flower and are able to see more, to open the flower, you're stronger. You have a more solid core. You're empowered. So as you are able to see into these like dark crevices of your consciousness, dark crevices of the collective, you're like, dude, I got this. Like, I'm strong right now. I can handle this. So that would be the indicator. That would be the barometer of, well, should I look at this like conspiracy stuff? You know, and it's like, well, are you strong enough? Like, are you pretty solid in your core that when you find out how much is really going on, are you going to spiral into that vibration, or are you going to stay high? And that's the thing about it, is we really have to be aware. We really have to be careful, because the negative powers or whatever actually feed off this fear. It's one of the ways that they stay empowered is by making us disempowered. So if one of the reasons that they actually, conspiracy and these things are actually becoming a great tool for them, because they're like, yes, we have people like that are proponents of us. They're promoting us. They're freaking out. They're giving us energy. They're also promoting for us. And it's like, well, that's not helpful either. So the way that I like to do it is I like to know everything. I want to know it all. And then there's also like, well, what is it all? Because aren't there certain realities where there's certain things happening? So that's not my timeline. That's not my history. And it's like, yes, that is true. And also, currently, presently, do you live on Earth? Do you have a bank account? Okay, you interact with banks. Could police pull you over? Yeah. Like my dad, right? 2009, it's like, well, what does all this banking and conspiracy about this have to do with me and 9/11 and blah, blah, blah? Well, my parents were very wealthy, and in 2009, when the economic crash happened, he was in real estate, and we lost everything. It went from millions to zero. It's a part of our reality, you know. It's a part of our present existence in this paradigm. So looking at things is really important, because it empowers us. It makes us understand like the root of why things are happening. So then we're not kind of like victim to strange things. We can actually make informed decisions and not come from a triggered place or a fearful place, because we're like, oh, I understand this game. It's just a game. And so you can actually like play with it. You know, you can play with it like in the Matrix. So it's actually really helpful to understand, like I was saying, the root of what is really like going on, so that then you can start to extract truth. And that's the thing, is with any of the stuff being put out by the negative side, or any sides, if the negative side's putting something out, there's truth in it. And that's one of the things that gets a little bit confusing, is we as humans, we as heart-filled emotional beings know what truth is. And so we can smell it and we're like, oh, I'm drawn to it, like a light, you know? And really, that's where they can, like, you know, hide this negativity, hide this other stuff. But if we are not naive to that, and we're like, I know that this is going on, then I can be like, oh, that means that they're releasing truth as well. So what is the truth in this? What is the gem that I can extract from this that helps my acceleration, actually helps my frequency, helps my timeline? So it can actually be a really good thing. Again, staying empowered, not triggered, not fearful. If you start to go into that fear, if you start to get into that state, then that probably means you need to pull back. That means that it's like, okay, you've gone down that 9/11 path a little too far now. Let's take you out of that, and we need to go meditate. We need to go like be happy on and hike and raise our vibration back up. So it's kind of one of those things. What I do is I'm like, I want to be as high as possible, and being as high as possible to me is being as informed as possible and as being as aware as possible. So if I'm aware of these different timelines, the reality of the secret space program is probably not even my timeline. My history is probably very different than that. But if I can see it, if I can be like, whoa, that's crazy, I don't necessarily want to interact with that frequency, but I know that it exists. By contrast, I can then go, oh, well, I can choose again and choose something else. So it's really helpful actually to look at things to see what you don't want, and then to know what you do want. So it's just really being hyper aware of yourself as you're taking in information. as it's getting dark, I think it's so symbolic, right? That you probably can't even see me on the camera right now. As it's getting dark, we have to remember too that this is a part of the paradox. Like, it's not just dark and light. We're both. We need that. The darkness in the old days used to be the feminine. It used to be the womb. It's the cosmic void. It's the place of everything and nothingness that we extract all life to spawn from. It's beautiful, you know, and that's something that we've lost. And so anything that we're resisting is really just going to persist. So there's no reason to hide it and push it away. And so just watch yourself. Like, are you resisting to hearing about, you know, the JFK assassination was, you know, by the bankers, and it was like a whole thing that really happened. And it's like, or are you like, okay, yeah, I can hear that. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Oh, and they're still running the world today? Okay, cool. So now I can make an informed decision that I am going to choose to be a certain vibration, and I want to make adjustments in myself and in the things that I choose for my future government that's going to look a completely different way. It's part of the creation process where you are an artist. We're artists. And so we need to have as many tools as we can. And it's like, oh, wow, I don't really like that one. Well, but I know that I don't want that, so I am going to choose this one over here. So it's using these different energies. Okay, I literally think I'm not on the camera anymore because it's so dark. But this doesn't matter. We're going to use this as like a little exercise right now. If you're just hearing my voice and you can't even see my face. Through the darkness comes the light. Focus on your heart. Focus on who you know you truly are. Stay in that, no matter what happens. Use discernment. And don't be afraid of this. Don't be afraid of the dark, because there's so much majesty, there's so much beauty in it. And when we really look at it, then we can truly see. So let this be an amazing opportunity to see this contrast right now as you're watching this video. And let yourself be super light, super bright. And let yourself look at the different expressions of creation which may fall into negativity, and choose light. Choose, because you are so powerful and you can look into the darkness just a bit. Then choose light, and that is powerful. So I'll leave you with that for right now, and we'll continue this conversation again. Comment below. We'll continue. And if you like videos like this, please subscribe, like, share, and I'll be back not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday with more videos. If you want other videos in the meantime, please check out my personal channel, youtube.com/thebridgetnielsen, for more wonderful ascension frequency building topics. Love you guys. Bye.